chapter 4.
What's the title of this?
The title would be called The Miseducation or Indoctrination of the Children of Israel. The miseducation and indoctrination of the children of Israel. Hosea 4 and chapter 6.
Is that about Aaron's son?
I'm sorry?
Is that about Aaron's son?
She's trying to figure out who is Israel.
Israel? Who is Israel?
It's about Aaron's son.
No, that's Levi. That's Levi. But Levi or Aaron's sons are also children of Israel as well. Levi is one of the sons of Israel, or Aaron's sons is also a son of Israel as well.
Okay, thank you.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Why?
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
Okay.
I will also reject you, and you shall be no priest to me.
No what?
No priest to me. Seeing you have forgotten my law, forgotten the law of the Most High, I will also forget your children.
You'll also forget my what?
I will also forget your children.
Also forget your children. Now we know that the latter portion of that verse is often ignored, especially in Christianity. That's a very familiar verse. It's a very classic verse that everybody is familiar with. Everybody probably knows it by heart, especially the earlier portion of it. But that latter portion of that verse often gets forgotten.
Okay, is it based on all the children?
We are the children of Israel. So if we forget the law of the Most High will forget our children. Just as our forefathers transgressed and the Most High forgot us for a moment, we can also transgress and the Most High will forget our children. Okay? So because we or our forefathers rejected knowledge and forgot the law, the Most High said that he would also forget our children. So in order for the Most High to remember our children, what do we have to do? We have to keep that knowledge, and remember that law rather than forget it. And that's obviously what we're trying to do here. And if we do that, what will the Most High do? Let's go to the book of Exodus.
What chapter is Exodus?
Chapter 19. So instead of the Most High saying, you'll be no priest to me like he did in Hosea 4 and 6, what will the Most High say to us? Or what should he be saying to us? If we're remembering his law and keeping knowledge. Exodus 19 and 5, please.
Exodus chapter 19 and verse 5. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure.
A normal treasure.
A peculiar treasure.
Okay.
Unto me, above all people.
Equal with everybody
above
else.
All people.
Okay.
For all the earth is mine, and you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and a holy and a set apart nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel.
So if we keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High will make us a nation of priests. Okay. What's the responsibility of the priests?
Got it.
Let's go to the book of Malachi, chapter 2. Verse 7. Malachi 2 and 7.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Should keep what?
Should keep knowledge.
Okay.
And they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Most High of hosts.
Okay, now we know that the priests were specifically the tribe of Levi, Aaron's son, as the sister said earlier. But we know that we all are, we're supposed to be, as we read the scripture earlier, we're supposed to also be a nation, or a kingdom of priests as well. So that includes all of us, each and every one of us. What the priest does is what we just read. You know, he gives right ruling. He gives decree. He gives the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. He teaches that to his family, to his children, to his congregation, etc. Go ahead and skip to 9.
Verse 9. Therefore have I also made you contemptible and base before all the people.
Why?
According as ye have not kept my ways, but have been partial in the law.
But have been what?
But have been partial in the law.
Okay, now what happens when we are partial in the law? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 18. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 9.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 9. He also that is slothful in his work.
What does it mean to be slothful? Lazy. Read.
He also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster.
Brother to him that is a great waster. Another translation says, one who is slack in his work is brother to one who destroys. Okay? So when we slacken our responsibility as priests, then we may be as one who destroys, rather than one who builds up. Today, the brothers sitting up here, we're trying to build up this congregation. We're trying to edify this congregation. But if we're slack in doing our job, then we could be as one who destroys or breaks or tears down. Let's read a couple examples of being slack in our work or partial in the law of the Most High. Let's go to the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 25. Start at verse 1. 2 Chronicles 25 and 1.
2 Chronicles chapter 25 and verse 1. Amaziah was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jehoadan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High.
And he did that which was what?
Which was right in the sight of the Most High.
And he did that which was what?
Which was right in the sight of the Most High.
And he did that which was what?
And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High.
Okay, read.
But not with a perfect heart.
But what?
But not with a perfect heart.
So he did that which was right, but he didn't do it wholeheartedly. Read.
Now it came to pass, when the kingdom was established to him, and he slew his servants that had killed the king his father. But he slew not their children, but did as it was written in the law of the book of Moses, where the Most High commanded, saying, the fathers shall not die for the children, neither shall the children die for the fathers, but every man shall die for his own sin. Moreover, Amaziah gathered Judah together and made them captains over the thousands and captains over the hundreds, according to the houses of their fathers, throughout all Judah and Benjamin. And he numbered them from 20 years old and above, and found them 300,000 choice men, able to go forth to war, that could handle spear and shield.
Okay, my bad, that's good. So, anyways, the point that I wanted to bring out right there was that Amaziah, he kept the law of Moshe, but not completely, not wholeheartedly. If we continue to read in the rest of the chapter, it'll go on to show that even though he did keep the law of the Most High and did what was right, that he was also destroyed for attempting to serve the Most High, for attempting to also serve the Most High with idolatry. You know, so on one end he's keeping law, statutes, and commandments, but on another end he's not. he's being partial in the law. He's being slack in his work. Let's read another example. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 11. First Kings chapter 11 and verse 6.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Most High, and went not fully after the Most High as did his father
Went
David.
not what?
And went not fully after the Most High as David his father.
Okay. So we know that so we know that Solomon was one of the wisest men to ever live. But it came to a certain point in his life where he did not fully follow the Most High. He did not fully keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, as his father David did. So the point I'm trying to make, think about it like this. Say you have a chain around your neck, and that chain has 613 links in it. You know why I'm using the number, correct? Okay. Now say if you're to break one of those links in that chain, one of those links, what do you have? You have a broken chain. Exactly. You got nothing. So it's the same way with the law. In a sense, we're only as strong as our weakest link. So we have to keep all of those links strong. All 613 of them. All those laws, statutes, commandments, decrees, and etc. The Apostle Paul addresses this in the book of James. Let's go to James. Chapter 2. James chapter 2 and verse 10.
Book of James, chapter 2 and verse 10. For whosoever should keep the whole law, and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all.
And yet offend in one point, he is guilty of what?
He is guilty of all.
Broke that whole chain. Read.
For he that said, do not commit adultery, said also, do not kill. And now if thou commit no adultery, yet if thou kill, thou art become a transgressor of the law.
Well, I keep the Sabbath. I don't keep the Sabbath, and I know that's wrong, but it's not like I kill anybody, though. Is that a correct? Is that a statement that's okay to make?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it's imperative that we keep the whole law. For if we break one, then we are guilty of all. I want to say that I'm proud of my stepson today. You know, we've been teaching my stepson Rashid about keeping the Shabbat, keeping the Sabbath, and not doing his own pleasure. Not doing his own pleasure, as Isaiah 58 speaks of. Is everybody familiar with that? We can hit that real quick. I know it can be difficult, especially, for children. It can be difficult for parents. It's been difficult for me to, tell my stepson to put down the game, put down the ball, turn the TV off on a Shabbat. But let's read that, and I'll touch